Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. This is episode 6 of questions that are commonly asked or information that folks are searching for that they leave in my comments section after the videos. I thought I would share some of these with you. I've done a couple of episodes and they've been well received. If you would like to continue to see me do these types of things, please leave that information in the comment section, and I'll continue to try and answer your questions and share them with the greater audience as appropriate. So let's get started. A question came in and said, I had an excellent video, thank you, on the Mitchell 304, but I wish you had addressed the common issue with the 304 reels, which is the spool comes apart due to the tension of monofilament line. Okay, so let's take a look and see if we can answer that question. This is a metal spool, so metal spools aren't that fragile. It happens that spools come apart a lot when you're dealing with something, an older reel that has a split seam spool, and that one would most commonly is a Shakespeare Royal Maroon is one of them that, well, you'll lose the top or you'll lose the bottom, or it'll separate or whatever. This one's metal. This is from a 305, not a 304, but if you can take a quick note here, there is a pass-through here. There is a slot right here, kind of goes through both sides, and that causes a weakness in the spool if you're dealing with monofilament. Monofilament, when pulled down really hard, let's say in a fight or whatever, it's going to collapse the walls here over time. Now, it's metal. Remember, it's not something that's going to break right away, but it is metal, and the reel will suffer. These walls will collapse. That'll cause your top of your spool to either warp one way or another, or it'll just simply break off. Well, what does that mean? If you're considering buying one of these reels, make sure, I don't have the button on there, make sure that when you test the reel, you check to see that your spool is parallel across the board, that it is not warped. By parallel, I mean that there's an equidistant all the way around between the rim of your cup and the top of your spool, and then check it for soundness. How do you avoid the issue we're talking about here? Believe it or not, you need to remove the line and then re-spool that occasionally, because the monofilament will clamp down on that and will not release its tension. So one of the best ways to prevent that from happening, occasionally, maybe every 6 months or a year or so, take the line off and then re-spool. And you should do that anyway, just because monofilament will wear over time. Okay, that's question number 1. Second question was regarding corrosion on a fishing reel. He said, I know you showed a couple of different ways to do it. One of them that I show is to use a metal polish like turtle wax chrome polish and a piece of fine, this is 000 ultra fine or super fine steel wool, to manually buff the piece off. We've talked a little bit about ultrasonic cleaners. We've also talked about using solutions like vinegar. People have sent in suggestions on that. Well, here's another one I just found, and I don't have the product with me, but I want to pass it along to you. Mr. Clean makes the magic eraser. You've seen that advertised on television. One of our viewers wrote in and said, you might want to try the magic eraser. Well, I didn't try it on this reel because this reel is an example of what the issue is, and this one's not terribly bad, but I did try it on another. I was happy with the results, so I thought I would pass that along to you. The Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, sold in just about every kind of grocery store and the like, and if you find one, try it. You might be happy with the results. One of the things it will not do, and this is another reel, one of the things it will not do, if you have a severely corroded reel, it will not restore the metal or the finish to this reel, because the corrosion is eaten through the metal plating. And I get a question frequently about, well, can these be rechromed? The answer is yes, they can be rechromed. Where do you get that done? Well, you get it done at a metal or finishing shop. I always recommend checking with your local motorcycle repair shops because frequently they do rechrome metal pieces and parts. And one of the things you're going to find is it's not inexpensive. It does cost quite a bit to get it done. But let's say this is your reel you grew up with. You had it on the shelf or in a shed or in storage somewhere for some time. The corrosion had eaten through it. You want to bring it back to its former glory, and it has sentimental value to you. Then it's probably something that would be valuable to go do. Check it out. The parts and pieces can be rechromed. You cannot buy a new spool that's the brass with the chrome finish any longer. Those are no longer available for a part standpoint. You can get a brushed aluminum one if that's what you're looking for, but you cannot get the heavy metal spools any longer. Okay, well, we talked a little bit about buying some parts there. The next question that actually came in, it says, I have a Pfluger reel. Somewhere. Oh yeah. I have a Pfluger reel. It's about 50 years old. Where can I get parts? Well, you're kind of out of luck. Well, you're out of luck from finding new old parts. Those parts distributors are long gone, as are the reels. Pfluger today is a brand under Pure Fishing, and occasionally they will put out a reel. I think the only one that may be manufactured these days is the Pfluger President, which actually goes back, the President name goes back to when Shakespeare acquired Pfluger, and the President used to be a brand that Shakespeare used, but or a model that they used. But when Pfluger came along, they transferred the President naming to the Pfluger reels, and well, that's the only one I think that survives today. How do you find parts for that reel then? Well, you're going to have to go to the aftermarket. You can either find a donor reel. The donor reels are available on sites like eBay and Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and the like. You're just going to have to search them out if you want to find one. In fact, I have a Pfluger Ohio 1878 that I recently got, and unfortunately it's got a cracked side plate, and I've been searching for that side plate in order to make that reel functional again. Well, if you can't find the donor reel, sometimes you're going to find on eBay that sellers do part out reels. They take a reel like this that may be missing the adjuster cap for the spool. Maybe like this one has a broken shaft for the main gear. They'll take the reel apart and they'll sell the parts that still work. So you might be able to buy the side plate. Maybe you have a reel that has a cracked reel stand on it. They can sell the body. Maybe you have a reel where the bail doesn't work. And they'll sell you the bail wire or the trip lever or so on by parting the reel out. And to them, it's very profitable. The sum of the pieces is worth more than the reel is. So check eBay, check Facebook Marketplace, check Craigslist for donor reels, and also check eBay for the particular parts. So those are two quick ones. Another question that comes in all the time is, well, several manufacturers use Loctite on their reel screws. I don't see you using Loctite, and do you recommend it? Well, I don't. Unfortunately, I've fixed reels for commercial fishing boats and charter boats for quite a few years. They were intent on using Loctite, and I can't tell you how many screws broke off. Now, they were probably using the red Loctite, not the blue. And recently, we just did a reel for one of the boat captains up in Boston, and he had asked me specifically, will you please use the blue Loctite number 242 on all of my screws? And yeah, sure, I'll do that. Why do you want to do that? Boats have an incredible amount of vibration. For those of you that take trips out on the boats frequently, you know, just standing on the deck as the boat is moving, you feel that vibration of the engine room coming up onto the deck. Well, what's that? That's going to shake everything, right? You feel it in your shoes, you feel it in your legs. Well, it's shaking the rods and the reels as well. And, well, that shaking does loosen up the screws. Yeah, you can use Loctite. My experience say it's 50-50. You find a lot of manufacturers use them right out of the box. Penn does that. Shimano does that. If you want to use it, go ahead and use it, but be aware if it goes wrong, what you're going to find is that you may have a broken screw and need to replace a frame, or you may not be able to gain access to service the reel. I did get another tip, a fascinating tip. I haven't tried it yet. They said, well, these are cool threaded that they should be able to remove. If you find one that is stuck, go get a soldering iron. Now, I never thought of that, but a soldering iron will produce heat. If you put the tip of the soldering iron on the stuck screw, that will heat that screw up. The metal in the screw and the metal in the frame do expand at different rates that might be able to break the seal and help you get that screw out. So another tip. So if you want to use that, you can. I don't recommend it, but if you want it, I will do it for you. And if you get one that's stuck, try that soldering iron. It's kind of a lot of fun. All right, well, there's a couple of things that we've covered today, why there's some inherent issues with reels, some ways to overcome those issues, some places to find some parts, and a little tip about that Loctite. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video. If you have questions like these that you would like answered, please leave them in the comment section. I will try to answer those for you. And before we go, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and everybody who's out there keeping us out of harm's way. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for making this channel what it is. I do appreciate it, and I do my best to try and pass along what I know to you so that you can improve your skills and keep your reels fishing for a long time to come. Thanks for watching.